Hello there and welcome to another CodeSong video. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up with this Kodable series, and what we're doing here is we're actually just really sort of trying to prepare for the Hour of Code. We know that the Hour of Code is coming up in the month of December, and we just are sort of exploring some resources to see what we can find to sort of help move the process along and teaching kids how to code. So let's go ahead and log in to the teacher's portal. I'll just go ahead and log in here with my username and password. Click the login link and I'm good to go. I will skip adding my school because I don't need that for demonstration purposes. And what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and look at the View All Students. You know, we've gone ahead and gone through some of these exercises, and things are going to look a little bit different on your console for your students as they progress through the exercises. So let me show you a little bit of that. I've selected one of my students, in this case it's Robert M, and it shows that Robert M has completed 15 lessons out of a possible 115. And what it shows you is that I've completed 100% of the sequence portion, but none of the other portions. And then obviously as the student progresses, these sections all start to fill in with progress. Now the reason that it breaks it out this way and shows you as opposed to showing you just sort of an overall completion is because as you unlock certain levels, you can sort of jump ahead. So I don't necessarily have to start with conditions. If I wanted to, I can also jump into loops. So those are the two sections that I've unlocked. I'll show you what I mean by going ahead and playing as a student. And to do that, I'm going to go back here to my dashboard. I'm going to click on the the Play Kodable link. But first, I'm going to grab Robert M's student code and copy that to my clipboard so that I can punch it in. I'll go ahead and click on Play Kodable, and then we'll click on Enter Student Code, and I'll take that student code from Robert M and I'll paste it in. And then what we'll do here is this will just allow us to continue on as Robert M. The Kodable app will load, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So what I can do is I can continue on the missions for the student just by clicking this link. But I can also skip ahead and look at the things that I've unlocked. Let me show you that really quick. I can click on this, I can click on this, or I can click on this. It's notated here that this is coming soon, and that suggests that I haven't unlocked everything here yet. There are two things here that I have unlocked, and we'll take a look and see what we can do there. If I click on this, it's going to bring something up right away. It shows me that I can select a concept. The only concept that I've got available here are conditions in Conditions Canyon. I don't think there's anything else. Let me scroll along here and see. Oh, here we go. It does say that I have the Loopy Lagoon. So it looks like I'm able to access conditions and I'm able to access loops. Now let's jump back and see if there's anything else that we can do. I'll click on Asteroidia, and we'll see what we've got here. Now in this one, I think I've only got one. Just this one. And this is called Celestial Strings. So this suggests that we're going to be working with certain variable types, and in this case, we're going to be working with strings. So let's jump back. What we'll do is we'll do a couple of exercises in each one of these areas, just to give you a sense of what's going on. Let's start with this one. We'll work on conditions. We'll go ahead and begin. So the first thing that I notice in this condition screen is that it does look like it has different sort of sections. It's divided into 4 different sections with objectives in each one. It looks like I haven't done any of the conditions exercises here. It looks like in this first section I've got 0 of 15 done, and then there's 12, 21, and then 12, and the final one called Bugs Away. Let's go ahead and get a feel for what's going to be in the conditions one. I'll just go ahead and click on that. Actually, I'll be clicking on this section here that I've got unlocked, and then we can begin.
Which way does your fuzz need to go first?
Okay, so it's going to kind of help us along here since this is the first time that we've experienced conditions. So I'll click on this arrow like it's suggesting, and I'll put it in place.
Now which way should they go? That's correct. Now, to go down at the purple tile, we need to use a special command. Which one do you think it is? way should they go? When you think you have the correct code, press the play button to test it.
Okay, so what this tutorial is actually teaching us is that we have conditions here. Last time when we were looking at this, we knew that we had to make sure to only expect that we could take a turn when we reached a dead end. But in this particular case, we now have the ability to make sure that we take a turn when we're on a purple square. So that represents a condition, because what we're saying is if the square that we're on is purple, then go down. So consider that an if-then statement when you're trying to explain conditional logic to your students. Let's press play and see if we got it right.
Woohoo! Let's go!
That's great. Let's try another one. So in this case, we're working with yellow squares, and what we want to do is make sure that we get the most coins that we can. So we have to make sure that we leverage conditions to turn on those yellow squares, as opposed to going to the end of or getting to a dead end where we'll miss most of them. Let's go ahead and give this a try. So the first thing we want to do is we want to move right. Then we want to move up, but we want to do so when we hit that first yellow square. Turn right again. Then we want to go down, but we want to go down on the yellow square. Then we go right. Then we go up. And then we go right to complete this. Let's go ahead and press the play button and see if we got it right.
Woohoo! Let's go!
And it looks like we did. So there's a couple of samples of conditional logic. Let's go ahead and take it back and see if we can look at what else we can explore. This, I believe, yeah, these are celestial strings, and I do remember unlocking this section, so we'll go ahead and give this a shot. Okay, perfect. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start on a couple of the first exercises in strings and see what that means. Okay, so now as I'm looking at this particular screen, it's not immediately obvious to me what's going on. I don't have any sort of a tutorial that gives me a hint to kind of guide me through what the objectives here are, and the screen isn't familiar to me. It doesn't sort of work like some of the other exercises that we were doing. So it suggests to me that skipping ahead is not necessarily advantageous. There's probably some things that I learn along the way by going in sequential order that I haven't learned here. It does look like it's trying to give me a hint that this purple fuzzball is critical. I can select it. That then tells me to put it here, which I'll do. And then obviously it's saying go ahead and press the play button. So it suggests that this is sort of my tutorial. However, when I press the play button, I do not see what's happening here. So it certainly does suggest that going in sequential order and following things from the beginning to the end is probably better. You'll get a better sense of what the user interface is and what some of your objectives are, as opposed to jumping ahead. So that's an interesting lesson to learn. I'll make a note of that, and I'll go back. This brings us back to the dashboard. What I'll do is I'll first go back to view all students, but then what I'll do is I'll look at Robert M. And you'll see a change in the dashboard. You'll see obviously he still has sequences completed at 100%, but now conditions are at 14%. So as Robert M continues to go through there, obviously this is going to improve. And then you'll see these start to sort of build out as all of these items become unlocked. Here you see I tried to jump to variable strings, but because I don't actually understand what the interface is, I wasn't actually able to complete any of those lessons. So I have a 0% score here. And it shows that also variables and integers and variables arrays is still something for me to complete. So that's going to bring it to a close for me on this video, but also on the Kodable series. I think this is a really terrific way to introduce a lot of maybe even younger students how to get into coding. It teaches some concepts that are critical when it comes time to actually start doing some programming. So as far as the hour of code is concerned, I think this is definitely a resource to consider. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see all of you in the next one.